What's going on, folks? It's that time. It's here. It's the Milwaukee M18 top off. They probably could have went with a better name. Still don't understand why they call it top off. Could have came up with pretty much any other name. Anyway, you know, it's 175 watt power supply. This provides faster simultaneous charging, whether it be computers, well, not computers, but laptops, fans, cell phones. Fits all of the batteries, and we're going to take a look at some of them in just a minute. Of course, you got the 12, the 5, and the 2. It tells you, depending on what device you're using with this top off, how many charges you can expect or how much runtime you can expect. Again, depending on the size of the battery and the size of the device you're trying to power. We know that it does 175 watts continuous. The USB ports, you got an A and a C. We'll talk more about these in just a minute. But it provides 5 volts at 2.4 amps or 12 watts out of the A, or 9 volts at 1.67 amps at 15 watts. And the USB-C port is a power delivery port. It provides 5, 9, 12, 15 volts at 3 amps. And I believe that's at 45 watts. And of course we know the AC output is 120 volts. So we'll take a look at it here and go over a little bit of it. So this side here, you'll notice you can see inside there's a fan that obviously is for cooling purposes. Now they really sort of over-engineered this to optimize cooling. The fan turns on extremely early when you're powering a device. It does not take long at all, and it keeps it running relatively cool. Here we got obviously the side where the battery goes in, and then the Rafter Hook, or let's call it a Rafter Hook, but this is basically the same hook that they put on the Sawzall, the circular saw, and the bandsaw, and some other tools that you kind of might use on a up high that you can sort of hang on a piece of lumber or work surface. And here's the other vent. The fan pulls the air in this side and blows it out this side. And we got the warnings on the back. Now the front, we've got your temperature overload light, and then you've got your current or your overload. This is the thermal overload, and this is the, I guess, actual overload, saying that you're trying to power too much. These are your buttons here. You got a little hand that goes down. And I think you're supposed to take these off. I think these are just stickers. But this turns it on and off for the 120 outlet, and this turns your Bluetooth, or not your Bluetooth, your USBs on and off. And you've got these nice little rubber covers that cover the ports. My only concern with this little rubber port here is that I just can see that it'll just sort of break off after extended use. And there's your USB-C. Here's a 2. I'll go ahead and pop a 2 on there. All right, so it's not small by any means, but again, it's not massive either. It's big. Again, rigid. Hart, Milwaukee is really the only company right now that's making an 18-volt version of a inverter. We know other companies have their 60-volt inverters, and they're a little bit bigger. They're definitely a lot bigger than this. So for 18 volts, I mean, it's really a decent size, and they really sort of over-engineered this to make it sort of robust. All right, we'll pop that 2 off of there. Now this is the 3 here. We got a 3 and we got a 2. Now here's just the power, the size difference between the 18650 2CP and the 21700 3 high output. It's definitely a significant amount, significantly bigger, but it doesn't add too much to the height of the top off. Still keeps it relatively small and compact. It doesn't really stick out any more than the two would have on here. Again, it still keeps it relatively small. Alright, and we'll throw a 5 on. Now this is where you start to kind of step up on the footprint and the size of the top off. Just for some of you that are interested in seeing some of the sizes. And so with, you're looking at about 5.25 inches. The size of the 5 on there. Now we're going to throw the Big Daddy on there. The Big Daddy 12. Okay. Now we're really stepping it up. Now that's about 6.25. So it's about 1 inch taller with the 12 on it than the 5. Now we'll go over a little bit, some more information. Now, I wouldn't recommend you put it in this. This really is meant for a stationary application. I mean, taking it from place to place and then setting it up, not putting it in your pocket. I mean, I guess you could if you weren't really in a bind. You could sort of hang this off your pocket or your belt loop or your belt and sort of take it with you like that. And we'll kind of compare it to the Ryobi inverter. They're really about the same size. The Milwaukee might be a little bit taller, but the Ryobi is a little bit longer. The Ryobi, and you see this one's been used quite a bit, but the Ryobi has two of the USB-A ports, and versus the Milwaukee's one, and then their USB-C port. They still got the 120 volt outlet, and the one thing that the Ryobi has that the Milwaukee does not have is the light. For some reason they did not think to add a light on here or put a light on here, and they could have easily put, you know, a smaller LED that they use on, you know, those new impact wrenches, or maybe, you know, even the smaller one from the drill, and giving it something just to, you know, finding your way around in the dark, not necessarily task lighting. But anyway, and then I don't have it with me. I don't have one, but it's the Hart. They make a 18 volt inverter. Now I think that Hart is probably the best way to go. There's pros and cons with all of them. Obviously these are huge. The Hart is small. The Hart has a light. This one doesn't have a light. This one has a light. The Hart batteries, the biggest you can get is a 4. None of those batteries have an indicator light. So then, you know, you're not ever sure if your battery's got a charge on it or not. Most of the Ryobi batteries you're going to use, I'd say most, have an indicator, and all of the Milwaukee batteries have an indicator that you would use this with. And here's just an idea of the size. Now this is a 9 that I put on here. So even, let's see, we'll put the 5 on here, which I think is probably going to be the most popular battery with this. I mean, look at that. Even with the 5 on there is just dwarfed by the Ryobi. And just for giggles, let's throw the 12 on here. So they're the same size. So going 3 more amp hours, they're the same size height wise, and really length wise they're about the same, including the battery. Alright, let's pull this back off of here. Stick the 5 back on here. Alright, so some uses. Obviously, you know, the 2 makes it compact. It's nice. You can, this would be, you would throw this on here if you were charging, you know, your phone, maybe a laptop or something like that. But you know, if you're going to go to like powering a TV or a fan or anything like that, you're going to want to step up to at least a 3, but preferably a 5 and higher, just because the current draw of those devices are going to just drain the battery a lot quicker. But anyway, enough yapping. Let's see what she can do. You press these buttons here. This is to turn on the AC outlet, and then you'll hear the fan sort of kick on and kind of test itself to make sure it's working. And then you got the light that comes on. You press this and the light comes on to power, letting you know that there's power going to the USBs. I wish that they had made a little bit brighter of a light here, because sometimes at a certain angle, or like when you're outside, it's hard to see that these are on. But anyway, we'll plug in. I got a iPhone with USB-C. We'll plug it in. Alright, charging. Alright, and then let's see, we're really going to test her out. I got a power bank. Alright, it's charging. Alright, and then I've got a fan. I'm going to turn her on. Alright, then we're going to hit the power button. Alright, now the fan's coming on. It went off. Now this fan's on. On speed 3. Alright, so we've got 3 devices running at the same time, being powered. But we're going to step it up another notch. Now, they don't recommend you use something like this with it, but you know, in a pinch, obviously you can. Put the fan back up, and then we're also going to charge my MacBook. And it's charging. So we're running 4 devices off of this one inverter. We still got 4 bars. So it's not a significant drain. We haven't had the fan turn on yet. Now, can you do the same thing with this? Probably. But I will say that the Milwaukee is definitely a lot more, it's a lot better built. It feels more solid. This, I mean, you can hear the stuff rattling around in it. This actually is broken. It fell off a table and one time, and it does no longer turns on. So this feels like it can definitely take a tumble. Now, especially if this fell off the table with a 9 on it. I mean, this 9 is heavy. I mean, to me, it seems like it weighs just as much as the 12 for a Milwaukee. But anyway, obviously, with your bigger batteries, you're going to get better runtime off of your devices that you want to power. You know, is this gonna solve all your problems? No, but in a pinch, like I said, you know, maybe you're in a storm, maybe your internet goes out, you can plug, you know, you can have one of these little pigtails, plug in your modem and plug in your router, you know, or if they're all in one, then you just plug that in. You can get your internet back up. And maybe you got one of these Ryobi's sitting around. You maybe get your TV running, keep the kids entertained. Maybe you got a couple of these batteries sitting around, they're charged up, so you're good to go for a couple hours. You know, and you're good to go. Again, we're still charging, and everything's gravy. Again, to put this USB-C on here, it's pretty big, just for the simple fact that it can charge those USB-C devices a lot quicker. And in the case of an iPhone, you know, you obviously have to have a USB-C to Lightning, but you're going to get a lot quicker charging, and it's really this different, this night and day. This is going to charge about the same speed as your standard iPhone charger, the little cube that I think it's a 5-watt charger. This is going to charge at the same speed. It's really slow. You know, if you're kind of get to place, you need a couple minutes. You only have a couple minutes to charge. You know, you slap a cable in here and put your phone on the charger, and it'll, you know, in 5-10 minutes, and you've gotten 10% or 15%, and you know, you're ready to go for a little while. Again, we've not heard the fan kick on yet, which I'm surprised. And everything's charging. Fan's running. This is still charging. So yeah, everything's still running smooth. Still got 4 bars. Everything's still working just fine. Now again, will this do the same thing? Yes. Okay, let's plug her in and see. And to be honest with you, I think this actually, it's hard to describe, but I could hear the difference when the fan turned on. This almost operates full throttle 100% of the time. This, even though it puts out 175 watts versus the 150, this seems to be holding back a little bit, and I could definitely hear the difference of the fan going from one to the other. In fact, yeah, you can definitely hear the fan. It doesn't seem to be spinning as fast. Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like to me that was actually kind of weird, and I don't know why that is. But the fan definitely actually sounds like it's spinning faster. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. I don't really know. That's pretty much all there is to it as far as this stuff goes. Everything's charging. Everything's working just fine. Unplug all this stuff here. Let me see if I can rig something else up real quick. Alright, so I've got the tower light. Everything's plugged in. There's no battery in it. Let's see. Boom. Just fine. Alright, now let's plug the charger from my laptop up. Still charging just fine. Actually, let's turn this around. So alright. Alright, now we got the light running, we got the laptop charging, and phone charging. And I probably can charge the power bank as well. Alright, now we got the fan spinning. And so it's sucking the air in on this side and expelling it on this side. So really a good handy tool. You know, I know people can say, well, you can just plug in. Yeah, but when you don't want to feel like, when you don't feel like running a cord, an extension cord, you don't feel like going into the garage, getting all that out, you know, you can run a, I'm sure you could probably run a projector with this. You know, maybe you want to set up a movie night outside with the fam. You know, you don't have to worry about running cords. You don't have to worry about any of that. And this will run, especially with a, you know, probably a 6, an 8, the 9, the 12. You know, it'll run long enough to be able to, you know, power the projector and watch the movie. In situations sort of like what we're using them in, you know, cords create a tripping hazard. You know, a lot of times we have a the, you know, with the pandemic going on, we got the e-learning, and a lot of times the kids' laptops will die. We just put these on the table and they can charge their laptops. You know, and in this case, if a lot of them have Chromebooks, some of them have a USB-C charger. You know, now they can plug in their laptops here and get 45 watts of charging, and, you know, be able to charge their laptops. You know, sometimes we've had a case where somebody left a charger at home, you know, but we've got USB-C cords. Problem solved. So anyway, there's a lot of different uses that sort of make this convenient compared to having to use a cord. Obviously this will power this light no problem. I'm sure it'll power any other of these LED lights that are corded, and a lot of them that are hybrid lights. Maybe you're in a different platform, maybe you got a really good deal on that rigid panel light and you want to run that, but you don't have an outlet right now. Well, you can just plug it in here. So anyway, there's a lot of different uses and things that you can use this for. It's 99 bucks. This, I think, goes between 59 and 69. Sometimes you can catch it on sale 2 for 100. You know, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. These are not as built as well, and I'm gonna say these have a fan inside them too, because I've heard them start buzzing. And but anyway, I'm gonna open this one up and see what's wrong with the button and see if I can fix it. Maybe I'll do a video on that and we'll look at the internals. I just got to find my little screwdriver set that I can fit down in here. But anyway, appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you. I'll respond, and we'll catch you.